our guest. Thank you, Brady. Take it away.
Good afternoon. My name is Brady Johnson. Actually, I live in Illinois, but I've lived in 7 different states. I was in the United States Air Force. And so I guess you could kind of say I'm from a lot of places, but really from nowhere, I guess. I spent high school and I played college sports in Louisville, Kentucky, and then joined the United States Air Force. Um, so that is me. And today what I'm focusing on is um, a setback being a setup for a comeback. And with that, I'll start with a little bit about myself. I grew up, of course, loving sports and always loved the opportunity to play sports. I was invited to work out for the White Sox coming out of high school. And I have a mother that is an educator. So my mother would not allow me. I was 17. So she preferred that I go to college. I played baseball at University of Louisville. And from there, I joined the United States Air Force. Was in a terroristic bombing in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia in 1996 that killed 19, wounded over 400 of us. I was highly uh, declarated and loved the United States Air Force. Felt that there is no place better than the United States Air Force. Well, and also in between that, while I was in the United States Air Force, I thought that I could do more. So I had a family friend whose son played football at University of Utah and asked me if I would help him get into the NFL. Well, 4 years later, I had 22 players in the NFL, 2 Harlem Globetrotters, and 1 Canadian Football League player. And I thought I was on top of the world. I ran marathons. That was my getaway. Is it was exercise. I ran every day, 6 to 10 miles, 6 days a week, and I'd started having a headache. And I initially didn't know what that headache was about. I'd gone through some big parts in my life, a divorce. Um, I'd ended up transferring into the state of Illinois from the base that I was at, so on and so forth. And I thought it was stress headaches. But uh, after about 3 months, I ended up stopping and going and seeing a doctor on base, and he sent me off base. And with that, uh, the MRI, I was in my uniform, and the doctor and the nurse looked at me and said, or asked, how do we say this militarily? Houston, we have a problem. I'd had a cerebral hemorrhage that had been bleeding for 3 months. And they had to put me in emergency surgery. And with that surgery, I didn't know what to expect. Well, I ran 6 miles that morning, and that surgery comes around. And during surgery, I had a massive stroke, 31 years old. And I was in a coma for 6 weeks. I was in ICU for 8 weeks. And then in rehab, I was told that I would never get the opportunity to speak because I had aphasia. I was told I'd never walk without aid because I cannot to this day feel the right side of my body. And I would never be able the opportunity to drive. I was told I'd never get the opportunity to read or write because my eyes had crossed during surgery. And at that point, things had gone pretty low. But my grandmother, who's now passed away, when everybody had left my room, my grandmother, being 4'11", she was the cutest little granny. She turned around and she was rubbing my hand, and she said, "This letdown, this breakdown, this is just a setup for a breakthrough. Now, the next day I felt excited and I wanted to beat all odds. So I started first with singing, with talking. I couldn't talk, couldn't speak. But being left-handed, I often would write things down and I would share what my feelings were, but I couldn't speak clearly. Well, I was a Pepsi singer when I was in high school. Us and Michael Jackson were the only two sponsored by Pepsi Cola in the world. So I used that on my side. I asked my family to bring all the CDs and my CD player, and I was going to sing. 6 weeks later, I was able to sing. With a little extra work, I was able to speak. And at that point, I felt that was a setup. It was a setup for something special. So I wanted to walk, and they would tell me to walk 2 steps, and I'd say I'm going to walk 10, and they'd say walk 10, and I'd tell them I'm going to walk 20. And I started walking. Well, I didn't know. What would I do as far as a reading thing? So I started reading at night. I was kind of sneak reading. I wouldn't let the nurses know that I'd had books brought to me. And I practiced and practiced. And then I was able to read, and then I was able to see. 2 years later, I wanted to go back to work. I'd been in the United States Air Force 14 years. 6 more years, I'd get the opportunity to retire. So I worked at Social Security Administration. Government and government comes together and they make a retirement. So I wanted to retire. Government. So I went back to work, worked at Social Security Administration, and loved what I did, loved people, loved the opportunity to help people. Well, year 7, I had another stroke. But this time I thought that I needed to change some things. And so I found out I had 20 years, 6 months, and 5 days, and I could retire. But I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm not from Illinois, so my family's all over the United States, and they were not here. And I was trying to figure out. Once again, it was just a setup for a comeback. So what I did was I decided I'd go to a gym, and I wanted to go to a gym to work out. I can't run as fast or as far now, so I decided I'd lift weights. Well, being in the gym, every time I'd pick up a weight, because I still kind of wobble when I walk, they would come to me and ask me if I needed help. I just wanted to get the opportunity to lift by myself. So I turned the third garage of my house into a complete gym. And that was 4 years ago. Well, I said I wanted to work out. I wanted to have a reason to work out. So one day I made a suggestion. I said, I think I want to be a competitive bodybuilder. Well, I was told, well, you can't do that. You only feel right side of your body. You can't feel it at all from head to toe, and you're lifting. Well, after 8 months of extreme eating correctly, eating clean, and then getting the opportunity to lift, I worked out 3 hours a day. I still do 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. And my body responded. 3 years ago, my first season in bodybuilding, I was 6th. I was 5th. I was last 5 times. And I had many people suggesting that this letdown was going to be a hard one, and that maybe I should give it up and find another hobby. Well, I continued to work diligently and hard, and eating correctly and working out correctly and making sure my form was correctly. And 2 years ago, last year, I won 6 times. And with that, I became the first hemiplegic bodybuilder and only hemiplegic bodybuilder in the world that competes with everybody else and wins. Right now, I'm the only hemiplegic bodybuilder in the world that competes with everybody else. And this year, I ended out the season, I won 5 times, and I realized through it all that more than anything else, it was just something that was a setup for something else. You see, through life, often we have problems, we have trials and tribulations, we have situations that go on. And, you know, being diligent, sometimes it seems so hard to persevere. But understanding that a letdown is really just a setup for a comeback, it's for something special. Being a kid, I remember watching Superman and Batman and Robin, and they'd always start in the beginning, it'd be diligent and it'd be hard and it'd be rough. And then they'd end up in a jail or tied up. But we knew, not only because of the time that you knew that it was only 15 minutes and the show was a half an hour, but you understood that that's just a setup for a comeback. Superman and Batman, they'd break out and they'd save the world. Well, the same thing is with us. Every day we have trials and tribulations. And the way that I look at it is it's just a setup for something special. It's a setup for something that is going to be storytelling, something that makes me smile, something that makes me happy, and even more makes me continue enduring no matter the situation. We love to watch the comeback. The story is about you. It is about your situation, your trials and tribulations, your things that have set you back, and the things that can bring you forward. Because persevering, finding it in your heart and in your mind, is what brings you to the great comeback, to the point where you can say, I've made it. I've come through. I've persevered. No matter what the people say, no matter what sometimes I even thought on myself, I've realized that through this perseverance, through this hard time, through this struggle, I'm stronger than even what I had believed that I would be. I myself, a lot of people ask me, why do you work out so much? And why do you work out? And what are you trying to achieve? And I tell people, I play, lifting weights and the things that I do are more freedom. It's a freedom because you always know the end of the story is going to be a great comeback. And our lives are just the same way. Persevering from not just one day, but every day of your life. Now I'm open up for questions. I was wondering if you'd be able to read them to me.
Okay, the first one is, and thank you so much for sharing that powerful story. We appreciate your grandma for, you know, lighting up the fire in you, igniting the fire.
And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that my grandmother turned around, because I tell people, I don't know if my grandmother had not stopped and turned around when everybody left, where I'd be today.
Powerful indeed. We have one response. Sometimes we are slowed down to change our course. I experienced that 2 years ago. Something keeps pointing me in the direction I have to go.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of times that is just exactly it. One of the things that I talk about about the greatness of what happened to me. A lot of people are sorry. That's the first thing they say is, I'm sorry about the strokes that you've had. But I've been reled, removed, resent, and redirectioned for what I'm supposed to be doing. One of the things that I realize is that life, the goings and comings of life can get you so bad and sometimes can get you so tired. One of the best things that I can really say is that I've learned how to love myself. Being in the military, you serve the world. Being a sports agent, you serve all the NFL and things like that. But I learned I never really took time to fall in love with myself. And with that, with the setback, the biggest part of the comeback is that I realized that I have to love me so that I can love other people. And I've been led to that direction.
We have a question. What
Yeah.
helped you most when you were feeling down or at your lowest? Any concrete recommendations you have for us?
Yes. One of the, I laugh all the time. My mother, being a college professor, my mother would come home with jokes, okay? Because she would tell her students, If you got a 65 on the paper, I'll give you 1 point for telling me a funny joke." So my mother would come home with jokes. So one of the biggest things that I do is I learn to love and laugh. I've learned to laugh. Laughter takes a lot of stress off of your heart and off your mind. And I've learned that laughter, sometimes just turning to a channel and laughing with no cares, can help loosen up your heart and your mind, take stress down, and it strengthens you for tomorrow.
Thank you. How do you stay focused and positive and tune out all the setbacks and negativity around us?
I stopped looking at yesterday and begun starting to look forward. One of the examples that I give is that, if you are jogging, you can't worry about the 5 miles you already ran. You can't turn your head and look backwards because you'll trip, you'll fall, you'll run into things. You must look forward. Now, that might be 2 miles, it might be 5 miles, but through life and through my miles of life, I found that looking forward for tomorrow can bring my joy, can bring my happiness. Just like a little kid, when the kid knows that he's going to have ice cream tomorrow, he's going to eat dinner tomorrow, you know? And I live that same way. I've learned to have fun through laughter, no matter the perseverance and no matter what I have to persevere. And I stop looking back.
Thank you. It was echoed by one of our participants, and she said, "It sure does. I have learned the same thing too."
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I found, you know, I walk through Walmart and sometimes, I walk funny. Okay. Because of course, I had a massive stroke. And it's funny because sometimes, you know, I'll walk and I'll kind of drift one way or another. I'll kind of chuckle at myself, you know? And I know some people are thinking, oh, he's kind of weird. Some people laugh with me and they don't even know what they're laughing about. But if you just laugh, people will laugh for no reason. And so sometimes I laugh at myself and other people laugh with me.
Thank you. How do you get over your fears of falling? Because with that stroke comes challenges with walking, with balancing. So, in terms of mental preparation or even physical preparation, how do you get over that fear or being afraid to try new things or even, to try to step forward?
You know, that that was a challenge initially. Because I got um carpal I ended up getting carpal tunnel. So I had to put my cane down and learn to walk without a cane. And people started calling me the stunt man because if I walked outside, I always walked closest to the grass. I just made sure that I was safe, true enough, but sometimes you're going to fall. And my mother told me something. She said, if you ever watch a baby, she told me I need to watch baby. So I watched my baby, my son, and she said, if you notice, children, they'll walk, when they're learning how to walk and they'll wobble and they'll fall, they don't stop. They roll over, get up, and they start running, doing whatever they have to do. So my mother said, you need to take on the mind of a child and understand that children have no fear. And so you should walk with confidence like a child just starting to walk.
Thank you. We have another sharing here. Thank you. I am 64 and spend an hour at the gym doing CrossFit. I was at the gym today at 5 a.m.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I worked out this morning also.
Another
That's
con. Oh, sorry. Go
I'm,
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say how free I feel when I work out. And I also feel normal when I work out.
Thank you. Second comment. My husband had a serious stroke over 10 years ago. It made him calm down and I think a better person in a way.
Amen. I tell people that stroke took stress off of my heart. I wasn't always in a hurry to get things done, which sometimes made me be a mean person. Because if I expected you to do something by lunchtime and it wasn't done, I was going to say something. But because now I'm not in a hurry at all, okay? Because it's going to get done no matter what the situation. A lot of my family tell me that I'm happy. And I tell anybody, I'm happier now post stroke than the Brady Johnson that was a sports agent, that was in the military, because it sounded good to have those as jobs. But I was not as happy as I am now. I understand.
Please post your questions on the chat. So if we have, if thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and your expertise, your lived experience. If there is one takeaway that you would like us to remember you by that will help us in our daily life, what would it be?
That you are truly a super person. You're a superman or superwoman. Your trials and tribulations. And with that thought, always remember that we win in the end, right? No matter what the trial, the tribulations, you're going to make it through because you've persevered through worse. You've come through. You're a star. You're a super person and you have superpowers and use them.
So thank you so much, Brady, for your time and for your expertise and for your authentic sharing. And I understand that you have a book. Would you like to share more about your book and or articles that you have?
Yes, you can look me up on Brady Johnson Stroke, Brady Johnson Stroke, and you can find me on the internet to learn more about me. And I have a book that I wrote. It's called A Life of Commas, A Soldier Story. A Life of Commas, A Soldier Story. And it comes from when my mother, being an English professor when I was young, I was sitting and watching her grade papers, and she was putting the red circled around these college kids' papers. And I said, Mom, what's happening? And she said, well, this person says, my name is Tom, period. I'm from Texas, period. I want to be a doctor when I graduate, period. And they've never learned the art of comma. A comma continues. And all of us that have been through trials and tribulations have not let life put a period on us. But we're all about commas. I'm Brady Johnson. I had a massive stroke, comma, but I'm now a bodybuilder. And that's the way I live.
Well, thank you so much for this very wonderful, inspirational talk on how we can persevere and move forward with our life. And our participants said, love that. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And if anybody wants to get in touch with me, you can look on Robert Brady Johnson on Facebook.
Thank you so much. And we
Thank
hope
you.
to see you again in the future. And again, everyone, please make sure to complete the session eval, the evaluation. And Brady, I hope that we can connect on LinkedIn so that
Yeah.
I can post a recommendation for you based on the feedback that we got today from this wonderful session that really
Thank
inspired
you.
us, that there
Thank
is
you so much.
tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And one of our participants said, thank you for being so inspirational.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. That really means a lot. I thank you.
So again, my apologies, Brady, for the time difference that, we were looking for each other. I saw your email. I said, oh, we're playing hide and seek here.
Yes, yes. That's A-okay.
And one participant said, thank you for your honesty.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I've got now. Thank you.
And again, I have posted the link on the chat for the evaluation. So normally I will be stopping the recording and this session after a few minutes because they're still trying to look for that evaluation link.
Okay. That is awesome.
Yes, I wish you a great future, a great afternoon, and more bodybuilding
Thank
contests.
you. Thank you. And I want you to know, keep in touch with me. One of the things that I tell people, I spend a lot of time at home, so I'm free. So just feel free to give me call me, contact me.
Maybe in the future, we can have you back as a guest on how to start a fitness program that's easy to do.
Yes, yes, I can do that. I can definitely do that.
Yeah, because you have the experience, you can inspire us to start it.
Yes, I got you. Definitely have you that. I definitely can do that with the weights. We can and the workouts. I can do those.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So do you have like a trainer or something
Well,
for
it's
this
funny.
contest?
It's funny because I have a coach, but I don't have a coach because my coach has become just a friend of mine that is at my shows. But as he had said, when I had my stroke and I started wanting to work out, he didn't know what to do and what not to do, because he understands that I cannot feel this side of my body. And so he didn't want to get me hurt. So basically, having a third gym, I was able to work out and find things that fit for me to help me get bigger. And my eating, I figured that out because I take medicines on what can help lean you out and things of that sort that are safe. So I kind of had to find that out by myself.
Ah, I see. So you mentioned clean eating. What does that mean to you with all
Well,
the complexities?
for me, I don't eat any fried food. My and then I look at what I'm eating. Like I eat a lot of baked chicken because it's high in protein, low in fat. I do eat things like roast, but for the most part, it's just high protein meats and my vegetables. I make sure I eat a lot of good vegetables. For me, when it's bodybuilding season, I eat a lot of cauliflower and broccoli because those are good carbs for your body that your body will burn. I stay everything. I'm about 60% protein, 25% fat, 15% is carbs. So if I eat bread, it's keto bread because I'm low on carbs. And basically, my carbs are to burn. And so that in the morning, I'm really breaking fast. I'm hungry. I'm breaking the fast of last night. And so that's my goal every day.
So do you do intermittent fasting or just regular breakfast, lunch,
Intermittent.
dinner?
I do intermittent. I do intermittent. Yep. That's what I do.
How long is the fast normally? 14
Y-
hours or?
Uh, usually it's about 14 hours.
Mm,
Yes.
I
I
see.
don't eat any I don't eat past 7. And then I usually eat before I work out. So I eat at about 9, around 9:30 I'm in the gym. And then after working out it's 12:30. So then I eat lunch.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then what do you eat before your workout that's really has helped you? Like the easiest one.
I have I get Quest bars. They're called Quest. Or I eat chips that are Quest chips because it's quick. It's high in carbs, but enough that I'm going to burn it. And it has a large number of protein and it's
Ah,
not high in fat.
I see. Well,
So
thank you
that's
so much. Yeah, for giving us tips.
no problem. No problem. I'm here. I'm here.
And what do you drink?
Everything I drink is water based.
Ah,
Right now, I'm drinking Gatorade Zero because I don't take anything with artificial sugar. And that's the biggest thing. In the United States, 70% of all United States foods has artificial sugar in it. So the foods I eat and what I eat is low or no artificial sugar.
I see. Well, those are very helpful practical tips for us because those are the questions that we always, ask our facilitators or our experts whenever we have sessions on like fitness or eating. And we're so happy that you were able to answer these questions also.
Yes, I would love. I mean, anybody have any questions, they can feel free to add because me having a stroke 21 years ago, I've bumped into a lot of things, um, on ways to eat that is healthy, things that bump against medicines. I still take 11 medicines a day. So I had to try this out. So right now um, I've become an expert out of what I've done and what I've found after 21 years. And so if I can make it easier for anybody else, I am more than willing to share.
By the way, do you have any thoughts about the caregivers for those who had stroke? Like,
Yes,
what would be, as a stroke survivor, what would you have welcomed that, didn't happen to you initially and later on you got from your caregivers?
patience, patience. One of the biggest things that I realized now that I look back on it, the first couple years I was mean. And as I told you, I smile and laugh all the time. But I was not mad at people. I was mad at myself. I was mad at my situation. But people around me sometimes would take it personal. And people stopped calling me. People wouldn't come visit me. Caregivers, sometimes it would turn into an argument. And it what didn't mean that it wasn't to be that way. But with a little bit of patience and understanding that I am going through this every day, every minute, I cannot put my stroke away. Um, you may understand, if you understand that, you may understand why sometimes we cry, sometimes we're mad. We're still trying to figure out ourselves.
I see. Thank you so much. Those are powerful reminder indeed for caregivers, because we are caregivers to other people also, in addition to
Yeah.
ourselves. Self,
Yeah.
yes. So, and then you mentioned also the power of self-love.
Yes. I realized, as I said, I'd never fallen in love with myself. I made a statement that I hold on to it. A couple of my relatives had me come visit them. And one day I sat down with them and I told them, I said, I am not my own best friend. I've learned how to love everybody else, but I'm not my own best friend. I don't even like myself. But post stroke, I'm in the house all by myself, right? I go places by myself. So what ends up happening is I had to fall in love with myself. And that's how I'm able to stay in the gym 3 hours a day, because I love my relationship with me so I
Wow.
can love everybody else.
Right.